Alex, if you're
Okay.
successful, which is unlikely, but I hope you will be, you're probably smarter than the average person, which is why you're messing with this. If you're successful, people's nature will change. So if you're going to have an overseas business partner in Ukraine or Nashik in India, take your time out to go visit that place. Because if you're going to invest more than $10,000, it's worth investing $1,500 to go show up and make your presence known.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? That's wow. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm gonna take my time with this. I'm not gonna because I was ready to move. I mean, just take as I go can get you hurt. I mean, that's usually I try to I'm not just jump into things, but take action and not spend too much time analyzing. But I mean, yeah, for some reason, I was at a halt with it because.
Alex, your sound is
I
cutting
appreciate
out.
that, man. This was very helpful.
Very good. Thank you for tuning in. Keep us updated on how it goes. We want to
Hey,
hear
thank
about you
you.
being successful.
Huh?
Certainly. Okay. Well, hey, Saints, I hope you've observed that when I'm
There was
talking
one that was
business,
a
I'm
whole
always
bunch broken in
talking
half.
reality.
It was just one.
And having had
It was just
experience
one I broke it in
in
half.
shoe production, garment production, technology hardware, technology software, like pretty much anything you want to build, I touched it in some way. And any place you want to go to produce the product, I've probably been there. And if it's international relations, if it's government relations, if it's multinational corporations, I probably touched it. And it's important to be able to talk to someone who's touched this thing that you want to touch so you can understand how it feels in real life. Because everything sounds good when people show you a great pitch deck and they're like, hey, man, give me $5,000. Well, here's the thing about successful business people. If I raise capital or I accept $5,000 from you, it's not because I needed the 5,000. It's because I want to diversify. Meaning, I could invest my own 5,000, but I got 5 to 6 different corporations I'm putting money into, diversified. So I don't want too much of my money in one particular venture, which is why I diversify my risk by bringing in other people. If the person's asking for your $10,000 investment because they need it, well, that's the person you should be less likely to want to invest with. So, anyways, I hope you've gotten some meaningful game. I do want to acknowledge Red Sings the Blues, another super chat. I remember you've been on previously, right? It's my donation to you saying thank you. I truly appreciate that. And I appreciate that you appreciate me. And one of our real rules for men and women, but especially men, is pay what you owe. Nothing in this world is free. And as a man, you should always be ready to pay your debts. It will speak well of you. People will know that you have integrity. They'll want to do business with you. They'll know that you're an honorable person. Like, for example, recently, just a quick anecdote before we go. You may know that I have 2 assistants. And, they have different skill sets. They're both lovely women. They have different skill sets. One of them is my heart because she does whatever
What you
I
bring to
need
a
her to do.
person
Like I could
is
tell
what
her to do something
what it makes a person do
crazy,
for
and she
you
will do
is
it.
what you bring to
So long
that
story
person.
short, a friend of
You
mine was
bring to a
coming in town.
person
They say, "Hey,
what's a
Marquette, can
person
you
going to do
get
for
X,
you.
Y, and Z for me?" I say, "I think my assistant can source that for you. So go ahead and reach out. Here's my assistant's contact info. Just tell them that you're asking, and I know you." So they asked my assistant to do a task for them. My assistant retrieves this thing that was hard to find and brings it back to the individual. Now, I paid my assistant for their time because they're on my payroll. So that's literally like me donating to this other person, even though I didn't charge them for that because I have to pay my assistant for their time. But I didn't say anything to the other person because you're my guest. I want to show you love. Then the other person who got this thing from my assistant did not pay them straight away, which me personally, I believe in pay what you owe promptly. If you do something for me, I want to pay you immediately. So I checked in with my assistant who's been working with me for some time and is super true. I said, hey, did so and so settle their debt? And she says, oh, no, don't worry about it. It's a small thing because I pay her very well. So she generally feels like she's being overcompensated. So she's always fine to do me a favor. But I was like, no, no. Did they pay you? She's like, don't worry about it, Marco. I was like, no, no. If they didn't pay you, let me know. I will pay you. She's like, don't worry about it. I was like, okay, cool. So then I asked the person, I was like, hey, did you settle that debt? They're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I need to cash app them. See, I don't like that. Your debts you need to close out immediately. It shows your integrity. Because
Yep.
when people do something for you, they want to get paid. Anyone who works for me, I make sure they get paid. If you have an issue with any product I've ever gotten, I make sure you get refunded quickly. If you need a new replacement product, I do my best to get it back to you quickly. If there's ever a breakdown, it was never on our side. And if it was, we will apologize. So, for example, there's a time that we sent out 2 books and USPS lost the books. Well, it's a total loss because there's no insurance, right? So we lose the money on the books, we lose the money on the shipping. We still sent out new books free of cost to the person. Why? Because that's on our side of the business. It's integrity. We owed them books, so we made sure they got it. Always do business that way. Let us end this with the creed of the assassin. Bjorn Baker, truly appreciate you showing up with the super chat. And we shall get into this creed, you dig? And I know that sometimes I speak on values. I just want you guys to know that, saints, you will be known by your deeds. You cannot pretend to be an honorable man. You must execute in this way on a regular basis. Of course, there are people who would say, oh, Marquette ain't nothing. Most of them are YouTube nerds. But in real life, people who have encountered me, they say, okay, he's done this, this, and this on a consistent basis. I only know him to be honorable. And that's how I'm encouraging you guys to live. That is why we have the assassin, so that we can live in this great way and be an example to mankind. Joshua writes, thank you. This has shown me some possible